Bismillah, alhamdulillah. The police service is supposed to be a public institution to protect and serve the country of Trinidad and Tobago. Police officers are supposed to be public servants. The police service use Trinidad and Tobago tax-paying dollars to manage and maintain the police service. But it seems as though the police service is a gang operating as henchmen for the political powers. It seems as though the police service wastes taxpayers' dollars. The police act as though they are high, mighty, invincible, and above the law. The police service lacks proper training and their policies are not rectifying or enhancing the lives of citizens. Gary Griffith introduced a one shot, one kill policy that he admits getting from his military training from his army background. Due to a lack of proper training and sadistic minded commissioners of police, we have seen over the years officers killing and murdering civilians. The Police Complaints Authority reports state that in 2020, 70 people were killed by police from 53 incidents. In 2021, 31 people killed by police. In 2022, 43 people killed by police. In 2023, another 43 people killed by police. In 2024, 37 people killed by police. And in 2025, 60 people were killed by police. So from 2020 to 2025, 284 people were killed by police. This is alarming. There is evidence to show the police service is a failed entity. In April of 2022, police officers went to Upper Rich Plain Road, Diego Martin. Police reported that Jelano Romney shot at police officers and one officer was killed by Jelano. Officers launched a manhunt for Jelano. That very same day, the then Commissioner of Police, McDonald Jacobs, said this is war. A joint police and army exercise was conducted in the area surrounding Rich Plain. Officers went to a masjid in Rich Plain and violated Muslims. As time passed and forensics, ballistics, eyewitness accounts, and other details surfaced, it was contradicting initial police reports. Eventually, the truth came out, and the real story was that these same police officers went up Rich Plain to kill Jelano. The officers, upon reaching Jelano, said, "Don't move," and the officers started shooting at Jelano. No one shot at the police. Jelano ran away fearing for his safety. When the smoke cleared, an officer was shot by one of his colleagues and died. Moral of the story, the ttps does lie. They are corrupted. They are gangsters following their own rules above the law. The commissioner is a failure for declaring war when that is not his portfolio. Jelano was marked for death by the ttps and 7 months later he was murdered. More recently, we have in 2023 in October, Karen Alexis was shot multiple times by Central Division Gang Unit during a traffic stop. Officers initially stated that Karen pointed a gun at officers, and officers, fearful for their lives, shot at Karen, hitting him several times. Officers thought he was dead and simple case closed. But to everyone's surprise, Karen survived and gave a different account of events that transpired. Karen was very outspoken on social media, giving details of his experience and showing CCTV clips of officers tampering with the crime scene. Fast forward to recently, some officers from the same Central Division gang unit are currently detained under the state of emergency for missing evidence, drugs from an evidence room in a police station. A very important point to note is that Karen was also arrested under the state of emergency sometime after for allegedly being a gang leader. Remember, a female officer was killed in San Fernando Municipal Police Station by one of her colleagues, and over dozens of guns and thousands of ammunition was stolen. A point to highlight is that there are several instances where police officers were killed by their own colleagues, and though TTPS mentioned some of these as mistakes and negligence, we come to learn that there is something sinister about these mishaps. Some very valid complaints that citizens have against the TTPS. One is that the officers have a bad, stink, dirty attitude. Two, they are slow or poor in response. Whenever you call for a matter, there is never any police vehicle available. But we see police transporting their friends and family. We see officers shopping. Sometimes we even see them liming at bars. Three, police never want to do paperwork. Whether it is writing an incident report, an accident, or doing anything like doing up a police certificate of character. They never want to do any writing work. Also, they have a lack of accountability. There's mass corruption. All too wicked. Failure to do adequate and proper investigation, abuse of power, white collar crime. They are also biased and prejudiced. It is against the law to lie to the police, but they are allowed to lie. You can be charged for lying to the police, but when the politicians lie to citizens, which would also include the police, there is no charges against the politicians. The police are above the law. One law for us, another law for them. The police can have dark tints, wear no seatbelts, and hold a cell phone while driving. The ordinary citizens can't do that, otherwise, they will be ticketed with hefty fines. Also, there's a failure of the police to adopt body cameras. They don't like the lie detector test. Also, police like to interfere with people, woman, and victimize people, man. Another failure of the TTPS is the Commissioner of Police. All of them, especially Guevara right now. He making his own laws and legislation. No protests in front of certain places. So they arrested some protesters and the next morning made it known to the public that you can't protest in front of the DPP office. All of this to stop the public outcry for the mess that the police officers did to Joshua Samaru and Kaya Seeley. The hot topic for the past few months, the murder of Joshua Samaru and attempted murder of Kaya Seeley. There are many, many, many more incidents of bad policing that could be highlighted. For example, police being able to find and retrieve Mbote's son's cell phone in the Beetham Gardens after Mbote's son was robbed of his cell phone, and it only took officers 3 days to recover it. If it was an ordinary citizen, the police will be telling you straight, that phone gone and we can't do nothing about it. What about in 2019, police raided a house in La Hoqueta and found millions of cash associated with a Ponzi pyramid, alleged money laundering scheme, and an officer was caught on CCTV camera taking cash and stuffing it in his bulletproof vest. Can we recall 2 officers shooting each other at Grand Bazaar, allegedly over a woman, and citizens described the gunplay as something out of a western? The reality is that the list goes on and on and on and on about the failure of the police service and its officers. But I would like to highlight one more incident that is overlooked and forgotten. Please pay close attention. There was a massive roadblock exercise some years ago by the TTPS causing mass disruption and upset the traffic and the public. The police were asking for a raise of pay, back pay or something like that, and they were butting heads with the government. The police service are not allowed to protest, so they worked diligently. They placed roadblocks all over Trinidad, causing panic and frustration to ordinary citizens. It was a test and trial for law-abiding citizens. This to me was an act of terrorism from the police gang. This was not a police institution providing protection, justice, compassion, and efficient service. It felt more like a syndicate, a mafia, a gang, a cabal, carrying out malicious, evil, horrific exercises and leaving the public in dismay. The police service generally are a bunch of liars. The police service lacks proper leadership, management, and training. The police service is a failure. Some people like to say it have good police officers. With them. Where? Which part? There are no good police officers. If we had good police officers, then the police service would see less corruption within its organization and it would be more effective in protecting and serving citizens. Good officers would stop, charge, and hold their bad and corrupted colleagues to account. The upholder is worse than the thief. One rotten egg spoils the whole bunch. May Allah guide us and protect us. Ameen.